Hi guys, Luke Kane here, founder of MTP Health, creator of the knee program. The hip hinge. We teach the hip hinge all the time. It's a really awkward movement. However, it's super athletic and super functional if you do it well. Now, inherently when people have knee pain, you tend to stay really upright. We tend to avoid bending down or explosive movements like jumping, running, lifting heavy weights. They tend to be the things that you start to slide off the to-do list pretty quickly. And so what happens when you do that is you lose the ability to explosively drive with your hips. Now, your glute muscles and your hamstrings, really big, powerful muscle groups. And if you don't hinge effectively, you don't tend to recruit them that effectively to help drive activity or drive movements. So what we do with the hip hinge is we really emphasize teaching the hip hinge to people with knee pain in order to help them do more with less stress on the knees. So if you can hinge effectively, you can recruit the posterior chain, or the muscles, the glutes and the hamstring muscles, to drive everyday activities like stepping, walking, picking up a bag, picking up your shopping, moving things around the house. Just day-to-day activities, you can start to use a hinging action which recruits the bigger, more powerful muscles at the back of the hip and thigh, instead of using all of the front side muscles, your hip flexors, your quad muscles, which put more stress and more shear stress into the knee. So hip hinging fundamentally is done to teach you how to do more with less pain on your knees. We're going to run through probably the most fundamental movement pattern that you will need to get good at in order to have a good array of movement that you can execute without stressing your knees too much. Now, this movement is the hip hinge. It's a really basic movement and it's fundamental to all dynamic exercise. So if you were going to try and jump, or if I was going to try and jump as far as I could jump or as high as I could jump, what I would do is I would load like this and then I'd jump up as high as I could jump. What you wouldn't do is stand there to jump upright and jump like this and jump straight up in the air, right? Now this motion of sending your hips back is the hip hinge. It's getting good at staying stable in your midsection, moving from the hip, but staying stable at the lower leg and ankle. Now, the tendency will be to want to drift into your knees. It's very, very common. Everybody wants to dip down your knees, lift with your knees, all of that old school messaging. But what we want you to do is lift with your hips. So the hip hinge is effectively getting good at sitting back into your hips and having the confidence to tip over, knowing that your spinal position is staying exactly the same as you move through that motion. Yeah? So a simple way to learn how to do this is to set yourself up with your back to a chair or a wall, move maybe a foot or half a foot away, hands on the hips, and then from here, you're going to sit your hips back until you touch the stool or the wall, and then stand back upright again. Now notice as I do this, my shoulders will stay right over the middle of my foot. Right, a plumb line down, my shoulder to over the middle of my foot, my hips have gone back, and then my hips come back through as my shoulders come up. Yeah, if that's a bit easy, move a bit further away, sit back, sit back, sit back, try and get right back to touch, and then stand back up again. So the aim is to get really good at moving from the hip without moving your spine. Two common faults. One, then dipping down into the knees and going too far forward in the knees. Second one is arching your back and changing your spinal position as you go. Spinal position should stay the same. Hips go back, contact, stand back up again. Hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to check out our website, mtphealth.com.au. We've got heaps of free content there for you. We've also got online programs available, really comprehensive stuff. So check it out. If you like this, subscribe, do it. It's good for you. We hope you love it.